Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Molly, and here we talk about everything that is personal mastery, spirituality, inner child healing, and overall just becoming a boss of you. And so if that's something that you're interested in, please subscribe to my channel. And I put out a new video every week. As well, I have an Instagram where I post daily postings on things on these subjects that might help you. And I also reveal a little bit more about my personal life in between balancing being a professional and my spirituality. And of course, I'm filming before work because this is how life rolls. And I'm in my scrubs right now, and it's really early in the morning. And so I'm just really grateful to be able to do this for you guys. So please stick around and subscribe if this is something that interests you. And today I wanted to talk about why it is so important to come to your own rescue, to develop a relationship with yourself. Stick around. So the funny thing about cultivating a relationship with yourself is that a lot of people just have no clue how to do it. They don't know how to start. And half the time, it's not even that they don't want to, they just don't know how. And the thing is that it starts with knowing how important it is. Before you even know how to cultivate a relationship with yourself and to love yourself, you need to know why it's important to do this, the value in doing this, because that alone is motivation enough to come to your own rescue, be your own boss, and rescue your goddamn self from every situation that doesn't serve you. All right, so it's important to know why. Why is it important to come to your own rescue and be your own boss and love yourself and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, even if you don't know how to do it? The thing is that a lot of us with emotional trauma history, and especially codependence, we kind of lost the opportunity in life, maybe in our upbringing, or we surrendered it in a bad situation, in a relationship, where we completely surrendered our individual selves to a situation in order to survive it. And that's our problem. We derive our sense of purpose, our sense of self from situations that we kind of needed to do that to get out of it. Maybe we were dealing with a narcissist, maybe we were dealing with a crappy home situation growing up, and the only way to survive it was to tiptoe around mom because you don't want to set her off, or to avoid dad because you don't want to set him off. And all these things over time, they amplify and they kind of build up. It's called complex PTSD, really, but that's basically the gist of it. And so it's important to realize that you are an individual just like everyone else, who has thoughts, perceptions, perspective, preferences, values, needs, and wants just as much as everybody else around you. We tend to forget that. We get used to living as these almost empty shells of trying to keep up with everything around us and satisfy everyone around us, and kind of lose our minds doing that. And we forget that we are a person that we need to connect to more than anyone else. And so the importance of it is that right now, in not connecting to yourself, you are literally neglecting a whole other person. So a way to see it is, imagine that there's an individual, a person, sitting in your living room in the corner. If it were a guest, do you think that you could sit there and actually ignore them for years? Let them starve, let them go unheard, unnoticed, unacknowledged? No, you wouldn't do that to somebody else. But that's exactly what you've done to yourself. Sometimes it helps to go into meditation and almost sometimes hypnosis or self-hypnosis, and you can look up videos on YouTube, and I think in the future I'll be releasing these videos as well. But it helps to go into your own mind and perceiving yourself as though you're looking at yourself, to really recognize that you are a whole human being. You exist, you are here, okay? You need to pay attention to this being. You wouldn't ignore yourself if you were laying or sitting in your living room in the corner, just like you wouldn't a stranger. But that's what you have been doing. And so it's a foreign concept of loving ourselves when we have no connection to us being an actual individual with wants and needs and preferences, and we've given that up our whole lives. It is a foreign concept to know why it's important, because we have survived up until this point, right? It's worked for us up until this point. Well, it hasn't. And that's the reason why you might feel empty or lost, or maybe your relationships aren't where you want to be, or maybe you're not where you want to be in life. And it's because you've been kind of just going with the waves and going with the flow of what everybody else around you wants and the way that your life has led you, instead of you taking hold, looking at yourself, acknowledging that you're a whole individual and going for what that individual wants, representing you as a whole, what you want in the world. And so it is so important to acknowledge, before you even know how to love yourself, the importance of it and what you're losing out on by not doing this. You were born with an individual talent that nobody else in this world has, an individual combination of traits and qualities that nobody else in this world has. You might say, well, there are other artists in the world, even though I'm an artist. Well, nobody was born as an artist with your background, where you were born, with your family, with your experiences, with your perspective. So it is valuable that you put that out into the world. It's valuable that you get to know this individual who can contribute a lot if they only knew themselves and what they had to contribute. When I use the term coming to your rescue, what I mean is that we, with emotional trauma history especially, we tend to look outside of ourselves for the answers. We tend to look outside of ourselves to get validation, to know where to go in life, to know what to do next. And coming to your rescue means that you're kind of energetically and spiritually sitting within yourself, and you are coming to yourself for refuge. You're asking yourself what it is that you want. And the beauty of it is that I don't know what everybody on this channel's religious or spiritual preferences are. For all I know, I have no clue. I personally am not religious, but I am spiritual. And if you believe in any type of higher power, then you know that you yourself are not just one individual. You are connected to something greater than you, something bigger than you, okay? Your soul, your spirit. And that's undeniable amongst most religions, that there is something greater than you, and you are connected to it. You are of it. And so half of your battles will always be fought by an invisible side that you will never see. And so connecting with yourself allows you to come a step closer to connecting to that divine side of you. So right now you're really almost like, if you imagine it's like one of those Russian dolls that it kind of builds from the outside to the middle, that you kind of pull out and there's tons of little dolls coming out. You're trying to get to your core. You're trying to kind of get rid of all this excess stuff that you've learned over the years, and all these coping mechanisms and all of these adaptions and triggers and all these. You're trying to get rid of all those other voices, getting to the center of that core doll. And then within that core doll is your divinity. And once you get to that core, you can never really be led astray. Once you really get to the core of who you are, and knowing yourself and recognizing you're an individual who needs love and who deserves love and who is love, you can really barely ever be led astray. There is a saying by Wayne Dyer that he's a lovely author in kind of like the new age and spiritual development, personal development world, that he says that once you gain that consciousness to your own self and who you are, the core of your being, your spirituality, the divinity in you, it's almost like you cross a gate and you can never kind of go back past that gate. And so this whole journey, you guys, of love yourself and how to love yourself, it really starts with learning why it's important to do so. And it's because you want to cross that gate. You need to cross that gate as an individual to contribute your beautiful, wonderful talents to this world, in order to recognize that you're an individual who is love and deserves to put it out there. All of those are valid reasons, and that's where it starts. And then we can go into the whole, this is how you love yourself, this is do this, etc. And then you go into all that other stuff that people typically define loving yourself as. All right, so I hope this video helps you to recognize the importance of coming to your own rescue, of recognizing that you're an individual, of the importance of why you should even love yourself, and just kind of being your own boss, man, because nobody else is gonna fucking do that shit for you. This is your life. This is your world. You're the only one living in it, and that's just the way it is. Right? And that's not even to say that that's a selfish thing. You live your life from your eyes, from your perspective, from your history. The world as you see it is the world that you define it and give it meaning through your own perspective. Does that mean that it is the only perspective? No. Everybody sees the world through their own perspective. Nobody's is correct. The world just is, and we are the ones who give it meaning. So yes, this world is your world. It's your world and you're living in it. Okay? So you get to define what that is. But first you need to know why it's important to do so. All right, guys. Until next week, take care.